Hello there and welcome to this Friday painting. Today it's all about radishes, which like many other paintings this week reminds me of spring. There's lots of lovely vegetables coming up, great colors, no more warm stews and cabbages, but food supply in my household is more going to fresh ingredients like lots of salads and stuff, and I thought, I could paint some radishes. So I started off with watercolor pencils and sketched out the radishes in red and green, and then gave the whole thing a gray frame. Now what I want to do here is not covering the whole page or the whole sheet of paper with watercolors, but just this middle section and have it look like a frame already, though there is no passepartout there. So once I had that down, I did start coloring my radishes with a lemon yellow and a permanent green, going for the green parts of the radishes first, all the leaves and the stems and everything. With permanent green, lemon yellow, and also some cold green, so it's more like a brilliant green, I did color in the leaves, gave the stems some shadows, and just, well, dumped a lot of color there and did let it do its work. I also added some sepia brown, which is a cold brown, to emphasize shading at the leaves and also a tiny bit on the stems. But on the stems, the brown is way more watered down than in those leaves up there. Just going over the same parts of the painting again and again and again to just saturate everything. Now for the radishes, I took a cold red, it's almost like a magenta, and gave all of them a solid layer of red before adding in some of that cold brown as well, to, for one, add some shading, and also to depict some of those earthy little bits that you have once you pull out the radishes out of the earth. So they're not washed yet, they're not from the supermarket, they come pretty much from your garden right away. I did blot away a bit of the color, or quite a bit of the color, on that right radish because it was a bit too blotchy, and then went over the whole thing again with the same red and the same brown that I used before. Once I had the first layer dried off, I did take care of the background, which is a gray mixed with cold brown and a warm blue, and well, just having it darker to the edges, and the further I go into the midsection of the painting, the lighter I get, the more water I add. I will smooth that out a bit in the future, but for now I left it at that. I added some more lemon yellow to the leaves just to have the highlights, and went over the radishes again with red and water just to smooth out some of the earthy chunks that I want to have at the radishes. They were a bit too blotchy for my taste. I thought the colors would maybe blend a bit more together, but they didn't. So I had to work a bit with a smaller brush to just, well, have the earthy look, but not have it look too blotchy there. Once I had that done, I went over the leaves again with the same cold brown that I used before and emphasized some of the outlines and shading of the stems and leaves. Added some more shading on some of the radishes, emphasized the earthy bits a bit, but not too much there. Whenever I have too much of one color on the page, I do blot it away right away and start just over again. Now once I had my hairdryer dry everything off a second time, I did take care a bit of the frame. Now I colored outside of the frame, and I thought maybe I would have a clean frame, but I later decided not to. So for now I'm taking a waterproof ink marker and just went around and gave the frame a solid line, and then I just went over the whole thing with water in my brush and just blotting away too much color and blending out the rest. So I'm going around the frame multiple times to have the color look way softer when it bleeds out of the frame. So you can only see it in a particular angle that I actually colored outside the frame, but it's really, really subtle there. So I took care a bit of the background, again blotting away lines that were too dark on the edges inside the painting, and then added a bit more of gray to the midsection between the radishes to just not have that super bright center and the edges be, well, super dark. And then I took a white gel pen and added some squiggly lines, and that's my painting for today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. There's lots of close-up photos and a bit of a background story on my blog for this painting. I will see you tomorrow with a new episode of the Talk O'Clock vlog. And I thank you very much for watching. Have a very good one. Do all the good YouTube stuff. Bye!